Ask 10 people the best way to protect their kidneys, and almost every one of them will tell you the same two things. Drink more water, cut back on salt. And yes, both of those matter. They absolutely matter. But if that is all you are doing, you may still be missing one of the simplest things that can help your kidneys every single night. Because the part almost nobody talks about is what happens after dinner. More specifically, what happens in that last hour before bed. That is the window when your body is supposed to start settling down. Your blood pressure should begin easing lower. Your system should stop dealing with the stress of the day. And your kidneys, which spend every hour filtering your blood, finally get a chance to work under calmer conditions instead of fighting pressure, sugar swings, and inflammatory overload. So here is the real question. What if the thing you eat before bed is either helping that process or quietly making it harder? And after 60, that question matters more than most people realize, because kidney damage is one of the quietest problems in medicine. In the early stages, most people feel nothing at all. No alarm bells, no dramatic pain, no obvious warning sign telling you your filters are under strain. Many people do not find out anything is wrong until routine blood or urine testing finally catches it. By then, the damage is not always new. Sometimes it has been building silently for years. NIDDK. I am Dr. Elena Brooks, and I want to tell you something I wish more people understood sooner. Your kidneys are not asking for perfection. They are asking for less overload, less pressure, less inflammation, fewer habits that make them work harder right when they should be getting a lighter shift. And tonight, I am going to give you the fruit that does the best job of that before bed. Not the trendiest fruit, not the most expensive fruit, not the one with the loudest health claims on social media. The best one overall. And I will also tell you why a few fruits people assume are healthy at night are not always the smartest choice, especially if your kidneys are already under strain. One fruit on this list is the clear winner for most people. One is helpful, but overhyped. One has a real benefit, but comes with an important warning. And at the very end, I will give you a simple bedtime kidney routine built around the winning fruit, so you know exactly what to do tonight. But before I give you the answer, I want to say one thing to the person listening who is already worried they may have waited too long. Please hear me carefully. Even if your kidneys are not perfect, there is often a lot you can still do to reduce the load on them and slow further decline. I have watched people improve the stability of their kidney numbers, their blood pressure, and their daily energy just by changing the habits they repeat every night without thinking. Not miracles, not magic, just the right daily pressure taken off the right system at the right time. That matters. So let us talk about what your kidneys actually need when the day is over. Each kidney is made of about 1 million tiny filtering units called nephrons. Inside each nephron is a small filter called a glomerulus. That filter's job is to separate what your body needs from what your body needs to get rid of. Waste out, useful substances kept in balance, fluid managed, electrolytes managed, pressure responded to. It is a beautiful system, but it is also a delicate one. NIDDK. And two of the biggest things that wear that system down over time are high blood pressure and chronic internal stress on the blood vessels. That first one is huge. When blood pressure runs too high for too long, it damages and narrows blood vessels, including the tiny vessels inside the kidneys. Once those vessels are damaged, the kidneys have a harder time filtering properly. That can also create a vicious cycle, because struggling kidneys can contribute to even worse blood pressure control. NIDDK. So if you want to protect your kidneys, you care about anything that helps create a calmer internal environment by nighttime. That does not mean a fruit is medicine. It means the right fruit can be a smart tool. A bedtime fruit is helpful when it does a few specific things. First, it should be gentle on blood sugar. Second, it should not dump a heavy load of sodium or processed junk into the system. Third, it should ideally bring fiber or antioxidants that support blood vessels and reduce inflammatory stress. And fourth, for the widest number of people, it should not be excessively high in potassium. That last part is where people get confused. Potassium is not the enemy for everyone. In healthy people, potassium can be part of a good diet, but in people with more advanced kidney disease, potassium can become dangerous if the kidneys cannot clear it properly. That is why some foods can be healthy for one person and the wrong choice for another. NIDDK. So when I say best fruit before bed for kidney health, I do not just mean the fruit with one impressive nutrient. I mean the fruit that checks the most boxes safely for the most people. And before I reveal the winner, let me quickly walk you through the fruits people usually expect. A lot of people think of bananas first. Makes sense. Bananas have a healthy reputation. But at bedtime, for kidney-focused advice, bananas are not my first choice. They are not low in sugar compared with berries, and they are not the safest option for people who need to watch potassium more closely. So while bananas can absolutely fit into many healthy diets, they are not my pick for the best fruit before bed, if kidney protection is the lens. Then there are oranges and citrus fruits. Citrus does have a real upside. It provides citrate, which can help reduce the formation of certain kidney stones by keeping crystals from clumping together as easily. That is not folklore. That is a legitimate benefit. NIDDK. But citrus is also one of the categories that can be higher in potassium, and that matters for people with kidney disease, or people who have specifically been told to monitor potassium intake. So citrus is useful in the right person, but it is not the safest broad recommendation for a universal before-bed kidney fruit. Then people bring up grapes. Red and purple grapes are interesting because they contain plant compounds in the skin that support vascular health. And that matters because your kidneys are deeply tied to the health of your blood vessels. But grapes also run sweeter than berries, and it is very easy to overeat them at night because they feel light and harmless. That makes portion control harder than people think. Then there are tart cherries. Tart cherries get a lot of attention because of their connection to sleep support and uric acid. And yes, there is real interest there. If somebody is trying to support sleep quality, or they are thinking about uric acid issues, tart cherries can be a thoughtful choice in the right amount. But again, when I am picking the single best fruit overall for kidney health before bed, I want something more universally gentle, more predictable, and easier to recommend broadly. Then we come to the fruit that quietly beats the rest: blueberries. If I had to pick one fruit for most adults to eat before bed with kidney health in mind, blueberries are my clear winner. And the reason is not hype. It is the combination. Blueberries are low in calories, naturally low in sodium, low in potassium compared with many other fruits, and they are rich in fiber and antioxidant compounds. That is an unusually strong package in one small fruit. The National Kidney Foundation specifically lists blueberries as a low potassium fruit choice and notes that they are also low in sodium and phosphorus, making them suitable for kidney-friendly eating. National Kidney Foundation. That matters more than people realize. Because the best bedtime fruit is not just about what sounds healthy, it is about what gives your body something useful without quietly creating more work. Blueberries do that beautifully. They are one of the easiest fruits to portion. They do not usually trigger the "I'll just keep snacking" problem the way grapes can. They are far less likely to feel heavy than yogurt-covered snacks, cookies, cereal, or ice cream. They satisfy the desire to eat something at night without sending you into a big sugar swing. And for people trying to make a swap instead of become perfect overnight, that is gold. Let me explain why that swap matters so much. Most late-night snacks fall into one of two bad categories. They are either salty, which works against blood pressure goals, or they are sugary and processed, which creates a wave of extra metabolic work right before sleep. Think about the classic nighttime foods people reach for: crackers, chips, ice cream, cookies, sugary cereal, microwave junk. None of those foods is neutral. They are either bringing sodium, refined sugar, processed fats, or all three. Your kidneys do not need a panic diet, but they do better when that last hour of the night is calmer. That is why blueberries are so powerful. They help you make the right swap. And in health, the right swap, repeated, consistently beats the perfect plan you abandon in 4 days. Now here is the part one think makes this fruit even more valuable. Blueberries do not ask for much. They do not need preparation. They do not require a recipe. Fresh works. Frozen works. You do not need supplements. You do not need powders. You do not need a cleanse. You need a handful. That is exactly the kind of advice people actually follow. If this is the first time someone has explained kidney protection in a way that feels practical instead of overwhelming, take that as your sign to stay with me, because the next part is where most people make the mistake that cancels out the benefit. They take a healthy food and turn it into a dessert. They pour sweetened syrup on it. They mix it with sugary granola. They blend it into a smoothie loaded with juice, honey, and flavored yogurt. Or they buy blueberry pastries and call that a fruit choice. That is not what I mean. When I say blueberries are the best fruit before bed for kidney health, I mean real blueberries in a simple portion. About half a cup is enough for most people. That amount gives you the benefit of the fruit without turning it into a late-night sugar event. And if you want to pair it with something, keep it simple. Plain yogurt if it fits your diet. A spoonful, not a dessert bowl. Or just blueberries on their own. That is more than enough. Now, I want to be fair and honest, because credibility matters more than hype. Are blueberries the only healthy fruit? No. Are they a cure for kidney disease? No. Are they going to reverse major kidney damage by themselves? No. And if anyone tells you one fruit can fix your kidneys, they are not giving you medicine. They are giving you fantasy. What blueberries can do is far more useful than that. They can become a consistent low-risk nighttime habit that supports a healthier overall pattern. They can replace foods that work against your kidneys. They can fit into a kidney-conscious routine more safely than many other fruits. And they can help you stop ending your day with exactly the kinds of foods and metabolic stress the wrong direction. That is how real protection usually works. Quietly, repeatedly, over time. Let me give you a simple comparison so you can see why blueberries win. If you choose ice cream before bed, you are usually getting added sugar and a larger portion than you intended. If you choose chips, you are usually getting a sodium hit your blood vessels did not ask for. If you choose a banana, you may be choosing a fruit that is fine for many people, but not ideal for kidney-focused nighttime advice, especially if potassium is already a concern. If you choose orange juice, you may get some benefit, but you are also getting a more concentrated sugar load than eating whole fruit. If you choose grapes, you may accidentally eat far more than you realize. But if you choose half a cup of blueberries, you get a fruit that is simple, portion-friendly, kidney-conscious, and easy to repeat. That is why this is my number one answer. Now let me give you the part most viral scripts miss, unless they really understand human psychology. People do not change because of information alone. They change when they can picture themselves doing something different tonight. So here is exactly what that looks like. Dinner ends. You do not wander back into the kitchen an hour later, looking for something sweet, crunchy, or comforting. Instead, you already know your move. A small bowl, half a cup of blueberries, maybe a spoonful of plain unsweetened yogurt, if that works for you. Nothing fancy, no sugar on top, no healthy syrup, no giant smoothie, just a calm ending to the day. That one moment sounds small. But it is not small if it replaces the pattern that has been working against you for years. And this is where I want to talk to the viewer who says, "But Dr. Elena Brooks, my labs are not terrible. I'm probably fine." Maybe you are. I hope you are. But early kidney strain is often not dramatic. That is exactly why people get caught off guard. Many people in early stages of chronic kidney disease do not have symptoms. Some do not know anything is wrong until a blood test or urine test picks it up. NIDDK. That is why protecting your kidneys is not only for people who already have a diagnosis, it is for people who want to avoid the diagnosis, especially if you have high blood pressure, especially if you have diabetes, especially if kidney problems run in your family, especially if you are over 60, especially if your nighttime eating habits are worse than you admit to yourself. And let me say something that matters. Not everything that feels harmless is harmless in the long run. The nighttime snack is one of the most underestimated health decisions in a person's routine because it feels emotionally small. It is not a whole meal. It is not a restaurant binge. It is not even something people remember mentioning to their doctor. But repeated every night, it becomes part of your biology. That is why I care about this so much, because the body does not grade us on our intentions. It responds to patterns. Now I want to draw an honest line, the same way I would if you were sitting across from me in clinic. If you already have kidney disease, if you are on dialysis, or if you have been told to follow potassium restrictions, do not assume any internet advice applies to you exactly as written. Even healthy foods can need adjustment when kidney function drops. NIDDK. And if you have swelling in your legs, ankles, or face, foamy urine, a major change in urination, or other symptoms that worry you, that is not the time to self-diagnose with fruit. Those are symptoms worth medical evaluation. NIDDK. That warning does not weaken the advice. It strengthens it. Because the goal is not to sound dramatic. The goal is to protect people. Now let me tell you about the kind of person who benefits most from this advice. Not somebody chasing biohacks. Not somebody who wants a miracle. I am talking about the person who is tired of ending the day the wrong way. Maybe they are retired. Maybe they are stressed. Maybe nights are when discipline falls apart. They do well all day, and then at 9:30, everything unravels. A bowl of ice cream becomes a habit. Crackers become a ritual. Something salty becomes a reward. And because it happens at home, alone, and quietly, it never feels important enough to fix, but it is. Because your health is often decided in those invisible moments nobody claps for. And that is exactly where blueberries shine. They are not trying to impress you. They are trying to help you stay consistent. Let me give you a story. I once spoke with a woman in her late 60s who had mild blood pressure issues and the kind of evening routine so many people think is harmless. She was not binge eating. She was not reckless. But almost every night she finished the day with some combination of crackers, sweet snacks, or just a little something. Her labs were not catastrophic, but they were drifting in the wrong direction. Her blood pressure was not terrible, but it was not where I wanted it either. We did not overhaul her life. We changed her nights first. That was it. She started closing the kitchen earlier. She replaced the late snack with a measured bowl of blueberries. Some nights plain, some nights with a spoonful of plain yogurt. And she kept that one change steady long enough for it to stop feeling like effort and start feeling normal. Did blueberries perform a miracle? No. Did her entire pattern improve because the night stopped sabotaging the day? Yes. That is how these things often work. People want the heroic intervention. What helps them most is the repeatable one. So if you have been waiting for the perfect plan, do not miss the power of a simple one. Now, I promised you a bedtime routine built around the winning fruit, and here it is. I call it the kidney-friendly night reset. Step 1. Finish dinner and make a decision that the next thing you eat will either support your body or add to the workload. Just making that conscious helps people interrupt autopilot. Step 2. About an hour before bed, have half a cup of blueberries. Step 3. If you want something a little more satisfying, pair the blueberries with a small spoonful of plain unsweetened yogurt. Not a parfait, not a dessert bowl, just enough to make it feel complete. Step 4. Skip the salty and sugary backup snack. That part matters more than people think. The blueberries help, but the swap is where the real win happens. Step 5. Keep it boring enough to repeat. That may sound strange, but it is true. A health habit that is a little boring is often a health habit you can actually keep. And if you want a second variation because you like options, do this. Take frozen blueberries instead of fresh. They feel more like a treat. They take longer to eat, and they naturally slow down the pace of snacking. That one trick helps people more than you would expect. Now, before I close, let me answer the question some people are already asking. If blueberries are the best, does that mean I need them every single night? No. This is not a superstition. You do not need perfect attendance. You need a better pattern. Think of blueberries as your default answer, not your prison. If some nights you choose apple slices instead, fine. If some nights you skip the snack entirely, also fine. If some nights you choose another kidney conscious option that fits your own medical situation, that can work too. But when in doubt, and especially when you are trying to build one dependable nighttime habit around kidney health, blueberries are the strongest all around pick. They are simple, they are practical, they are kidney friendly for a wide range of people, and they make it easier to stop doing the late night things that quietly push you the wrong way. That is why they win. And if I can leave you with one final thought, it is this: most people damage their kidneys slowly, which means most kidney-friendly protection also happens slowly, not through panic, not through gimmicks, not through one magic superfood, through small, repeated decisions that lower the strain. So tonight, do not overcomplicate it. Do not promise yourself a total life reinvention by morning. Just win the last hour of the day. If you have blueberries in the house, use them. If you do not, put them on your list. And if you already know your evenings are where your discipline goes to die, then this is the habit to fix first. Because sometimes the most powerful health move is not adding something exotic. It is replacing something harmful with something quietly wise. And for most people, the best fruit to eat before bed for kidney health is blueberries.